Everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. I'm your host, Matt King, and we are joined today by two Brazilian fans. And I'm wearing my Brazil top too, so this is like a very good triple whammy for everybody here. The clear favourites of the tournament. Louise, Stuart, how are you guys doing?
Well, I'm really fine, and I'd say I'm excited about the knockout stages in Copa America coming now. I think the real Copa America starts now.
Agreed, it does, doesn't it? The quarterfinals. Stuart, how are you doing, mate? And do you agree with Louise there? Like, this is where it starts rolling.
Yeah, good. I think that the group stage was, with the format this year and without having the guest teams, with having 10 teams and 8 teams progressed in it, it was going to wait until the knockout stage to really get going. But yeah, it's good. Like, we've got the Euros going on, we've got the Copa America, so can't complain. Plenty of football to watch. It's all getting good from there.
Good, mate. You got something on in the background there, Stuart. Sorry, mate. Just took over your voice a little bit. You in a pub garden?
Yeah, mate. Just stopped on the way back. It's sunny outside, so stopped on the way back from work. Just set up somewhere with a beer to have the call.
Good. Well, look, guys, thank you so much for coming on to have a quick chat and talking about the what's happening in Copa America. So, look, you're both pretty much, I'd say, Brazil fans, right? How are you making of them so far? Top of the table, no troubles at the moment, right? Right, Louise?
Yeah, well, I'm not the biggest fan of Brazil. I don't know, national teams, football are not really my thing, but I like to watch it. And I'd say Brazil, of course, they had a comfortable patch because only the last one in the group got knocked out. And it were expected for them to qualify as the first. Uh, I'd say people here are really roasting the team because they don't play that showy football. It's not the best one to watch. But Brazil, I think they really have the best quality in the continent, and they are the big favorites of this tournament. There's no way to deny it. And if we don't win it, people will be disappointed. There's no way to escape from that.
I agree. What about you, Stuart, mate? What do you make of Brazil so far in the competition?
I think the way that the tournament started with the political backdrop, it was always a lot of added pressure. They didn't know if Tite was going to still be manager when the tournament started. The week before, there was still talk about whether the players were going to play or not. There was a lot going on to start with. I think they've regrouped well, got through the stage comfortably, as would be expected with the team that they've got. I think that they are definitely the favourites. You look at the squads that they've got, and you compare the leagues that the players are playing in. Most of the squads in the big leagues in Europe. There's a couple that play in Brazil, but they are favourites for a reason. They've won the most recent one in 2019. They're definitely the team to beat, and I think that they are rightly favourites. But teams can get at them. I think that the Colombia game was a good game to watch. Obviously controversial with how the equaliser went in. So every game in the knockout stage should be a good game. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I'm obviously rooting for Brazil to win. You guys also said how amazing that Argentina have done so far. They topped the Group B, right? So how do you think of Argentina so far? And do you think they are going to be the team that Brazil has to beat in order to continue this year's Copa America? Louise?
Yeah, I think the side that Argentina got in the knockout stages are really strong because they have Uruguay, they have Colombia, all at their side. So, with all the respect to the other ones, I think they will be the ones fighting to see who will face Brazil in the final. And Argentina really improved a lot in the past years, although they were doing bad. So it was kind of they needed to improve, but they really did. So I think we have to recognize they're probably the one with the best chances to beat in Brazil.
I
Well,
think if
just
you
to
look at,
go on, sorry,
sorry,
yeah, please. Sorry, mate. Yeah, please.
just going to say, if you look at the team that Argentina have got, like they've always been fine going forward. They've got so many options going forward, but people always question the defense. But you're looking, they beat Uruguay 1-0, they beat, was it Paraguay 1-0, and they're grinding out the results, which in other times you'd think would they be as strong. I know they drew with Chile 1-0, and they beat Bolivia 4-1, but you're looking at an Argentina team that is grinding results out now, and they do seem to have a bit more mental toughness behind them, which I haven't had before.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, just to look at the results since Monday, since the last time we did one, was Colombia 1, Peru 2, Uruguay 1, Chile 1, Argentina 1, Paraguay 0, Ecuador 2, Peru 2, and then on Thursday it was Brazil 2, Colombia 1, Bolivia 0, Uruguay 2, Chile 0, Paraguay 2, and then on Sunday you had Brazil 1, Ecuador 1, Venezuela 0, Peru 1, and on Tuesday you had Uruguay 1, Paraguay 0, Bolivia 1, Argentina 4. So yeah, I mean, what did you make of the last games anyway? Like the fact that Argentina won 4-1 against Bolivia. I mean, Bolivia aren't doing that great, are they? To be fair, they're out now, aren't they? So, what do you make of like that? The last set of games there, Louise.
Well, I mean, Bolivia and Venezuela are clearly the worst teams in the continent, so it was really predictable that both of them would get out in the group stages. And I mean, it's not surprising that Argentina got that big win against Bolivia, but I mean, when you're facing a bad team, what you can do is that it not necessarily shows that Argentina have a strong team, but they did what they had to do. So I mean, it was expected and they did. They showed that at least they are doing the minimum they can do.
I agree. And do you know what's so rubbish about this website? Is it doesn't actually tell you. Is that that isn't the order of like where people come? I don't know why it doesn't give you like the actual group standings at the end there.
Yeah, that's real crazy. I don't think they finish like that.
But every
No.
teams, groups, and schedules. It says the groups, but it's not telling me where people finish.
Well, yeah, that's crazy.
And this is at the actual website. So everybody do remember that you can go on the actual website. It doesn't always do you very good. So like who out of Copa America so far has been sort of the dark horse at the moment, Stuart? Who do you think like has surprised you so far in Copa America?
I think to start with, Paraguay had a couple of good results, but then they've just lost the last game of the group to Uruguay. I think the group A finished pretty much how you'd expect, with Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Chile being the top four. I think Peru did well to finish above Colombia. I think, but Peru did reach the final of the last one. Peru always seems to do quite well, but they don't really have. For being from the UK, you don't really hear too much about the Peruvian players. Whereas a team like Colombia, you've got your more recognised players that you would you automatically expect to do well. But then I think Peru reached the final in 2019, so can you really class it as a surprise if they've done well previously? I think that. Yeah, I think Paraguay and Peru will be a good game in the quarterfinals. I think Colombia, Uruguay will be another good. You expect Argentina and Brazil both to comfortably win their games. I think the other two games will be best watches. I think Peru, Paraguay, and Uruguay, Colombia will be the two best games of the round.
Yeah. What about you, Louise? What stood out for you, mate?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit early to talk about dark horses because 8 of 10 teams qualified. So, I mean, I think we can see dark horses from now on. Like Peru and Paraguay are facing each other. I think the one that qualifies in this game have great potential to be the dark horse. I mean, Paraguay has a great defensive line. They're really hard to face. I mean, you won't score many goals on them. It's kind of a normal thing to think. And Peru got to the last final of Copa America, like Stuart said. So I think they have the greatest potentials. Colombia and Uruguay, they will be playing, and I think Colombia can qualify. Uruguay are struggling a little bit. So if Colombia qualifies, they could be a dark horse too, but I don't know. They have a good team. It wouldn't be a surprise for them to reach the final, although they could possibly face Argentina in the path to the final.
Well, I've managed to get, I don't know if you can see it there. So I think that is the finishing of the Group A and Group B.
Yes, it's the.
I mean, Peru second above Colombia. Is that a surprise to you, Stuart? Or like, Colombia are quite a well-known team from around the world for being quite good, and they have been quite good the last 10 years per se with the players that they've brought through. What do you think of them?
I think, like I said before, I think Colombia, especially to us in the UK, Colombia, you hear a lot more about Colombian players. Obviously, James Rodriguez didn't go to the tournament, but they do have players like Yerry Mina, who's plays for Everton. Got players that we recognise in the UK more than what you have for Peru. But then if you look on form, if you've got the last Copa America back to 2019, Peru were the finalists, and so it's hard to call it as a surprise because on form, that's what Peru did last time. And I think it's just because Colombia are more known to us in the UK. But I do think it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. And that Colombia-Uruguay game I'm really looking forward to, because even though Uruguay haven't had the strongest tournament, they won the last couple of games, and they have got the players that, yeah, I heard in the last episode you were talking about how the team is aging and they're not the team that they used to be, but they do still have a lot of world-class players in the team. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
What sort of looks are you getting in Huddersfield wearing a Brazil shirt right now?
Anybody that knows me is used to it. I've got all sorts. I think I've got that. I've got all, whether it be Argentinian or Colombian or it's got all sorts going on.
Well, yeah, Argentinian colours, Huddersfield colours, they sort of match, don't they? So I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, what else? I think I've got like Boca Juniors, like Independiente Medellin. Like I've got a couple of Brazilian clubs, Avaí and Flamengo, and yeah, just all sorts.
Anybody else there then, Louise, that surprises you, or in both ways, not just being good, but maybe being bad as well? You didn't expect them to be so bad.
I mean, I think Peru, it's a small surprise because we always expect more from Colombia. One other player that is famous is Ospina, their goalkeeper. So they have famous players. We always expect more from them than we expect from Peru. Although Peru qualified to the last World Cup, which is a great achievement for them, they played the last Copa America final. So, I mean, I think it's just because we are not used to expect much from them. So it's kind of normal, it's not something amazing and everything. I'd say Uruguay kind of disappointed me a little bit. I'd expect them to perform better on the pitch, but they're going through a transition period, so I mean it's okay. They're not in bad form, so just a little bit above my expectations, and I think it's kind of normal too because their league downgraded a lot in the past years. I think they're not having so much good players that they had before. And I mean, Suarez and Cavani are kind of trying to carry the team, but they aren't enough. And Uruguay also have Valverde, who plays at Real Madrid, and Arrascaeta, who plays in Brazil here in Flamengo. He's good. But I don't know. I think as a team, they are not working so good as they could be.
You say Paraguay are doing quite well. I mean, I don't really know anyone quite specifically who plays for Paraguay, but I mean, they don't seem to be doing too bad.
Yeah, I think they are okay. It's what we could expect from them. Both their center backs play here in Brazil. One is Gustavo Gomes, who is the captain of Palmeiras, who won the last Libertadores. And the other one is Junior Alonso. He plays at Atlético Mineiro here too. They're both good. I think they're kind of the level as middle teams in Europe. They could be playing there. But I don't know. They don't have like top players, so they're doing what we could expect from them. And their game is trying to get the clean sheet, take the game to the penalties when they face stronger teams. And it's okay in a knockout tournament. You can really win it if you got successful.
Yeah, I mean, you look at England at the moment. You know, like we could really win. Yeah, over the
Yeah,
Euros.
I mean, if you got to the knockout stages, oh, who knows? Everyone can win it.
That's the whole thing, isn't it, Stuart? The fact that I think form is off the cards, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you scrape through. You look at what I mean, just in the Euros anyway, because they've already stepped into the round 16. You look at people like Ukraine and Switzerland. It could happen in Copa America, couldn't it? You could see teams like Chile and Ecuador actually making the semis, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before, hasn't it? Chile won it a few years ago when they beat Argentina on penalties. You've got a lot of the games that you'll see will be very kind of competitive, fiercely contested. You're going to see teams well organised. You're going to see teams kick it. I mean, the Colombia-Brazil game at times was more like a battle than a game. At times, like the Colombians really were, especially after the equaliser. Like I think what was it, 10 minutes we were arguing about the goal, roughly.
Yeah, it was
Kind of
something like
complaining
that.
afterwards. So it is. You do get that. I remember, like when I was at university, I played a tournament for the uni, and in one of the games, I think the third game of the tournament, it finished. One team finished with 8 players. One team finished with 7. There was 5 red cards in the game, and you have got that. What I've always found in South America, you do have that kind of feisty, argumentative side, which can affect games because you've got teams that will literally put everything on the line. They'll battle, they'll fight, they'll kick, they'll do whatever needs to be done to win the game. So when you have got people that are teams like your Paraguay, Chile, they are going to put everything into the game. You're not going to get an easy game against them. So anything can happen. And when it goes to extra time and penalties between Switzerland and France and Europe, there's no guarantees that the best team will go through.
Exactly. It's not like a league season where you get so many more chances. You literally have that one chance. If you can't defeat the team that you're facing and they are below you in rankings, then that's just knockout football, which is why we like football. It's the fact that you can get knocked out by a smaller team, and I think that's the whole point, isn't it? The love of football. We want to see that. We want to see bigger teams being knocked out by people who supposedly shouldn't be there. But you know what I mean? Like, it's nice.
Yeah, it's exactly that way. Because I think we love sport because of the emotions we get from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think football is one of the sports where the weaker sides have the most chances to get trophies, to do great things. I mean, basketball, when you watch something like the NBA, the stronger team like would trash the other one. It's kind of predictable. In football, you can't be sure. You'll never be sure. Everything can happen. And I mean, in just a couple minutes, you can get a fantastic comeback and qualify. You never know.
Exactly. It just reminds me of the 7-1 against Brazil.
Whoa.
just anything can happen. You'd expected Brazil to put in a decent performance, and the underdogs, which they were at the time, I feel.
I got a nice story about that 7-1. I was in Europe. At that day, I was in Switzerland with my family. So we were walking on the street, and there was like a bar where people would watch the game. And my mom was like, "Hey, what if we watch it there?" And I say, "Mom, no. If things get wrong, you don't want to be there. People will mock us. Let's watch it in the hotel." And then she said, "Okay, let's go to the hotel." Then we went there, and everyone knows what happened. And my cousin was with her husband, and well, Miller scored on goal, and she was like, "Wait, is that a replay?" And her husband said, "No, it's one more."
Do we get another go? Do you remember that, Stuart? I mean, I'm not to bring up like a disheartening thing. I know. I just want to talk a little bit about Brazil because we're all wearing Brazilian shirts. How do you think the team moved on from that defeat? Because that was really the line in the sand, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
With difficulty, I think. Like even when I went, which was two years later, I think it was still talked about, or not talked about, if we can say. Like, I think the Olympics was when I was out there, so that was there's pressure on them then to win the Olympic gold medal to try and take some of that away from 2 years previously, and still get spoke about afterwards. Like the Brazilian friend that I speak to now still talks about that stadium where the game was and the rivalry of Germany because of it, wanting Germany to lose because of it when they were playing England the other day. And yeah, it's still it's definitely not been got over.
So Brazilians were happy that England beat Germany on Tuesday.
At least who I spoke to, anyway.
What about you?
Because of a 7-1.
Well, I don't know how exactly the team moved on. I'd say we as Brazilian people, we like to mock everything. We have a sense of humor that's kind of different from everyone else. So we're always joking about that. I mean, it's crazy when we see people from outside making fun of us. It's not okay, but we always make fun of us. We have something like I don't know. I'm sleeping, and then my mom comes in. "Hey, son, wake up! It's already 8." And I wait. One more goal from Germany. We're always making that, and I think people really moved on. It's okay. Of course, we want to beat Germany, get revenge, but that's it. And the team, I don't know. The Olympic medal was great. We never had a gold medal in football before, and of course, playing against Germany in the final was special. But I'd say I think time heals them. They changed the manager like twice after that, and we I think when Titi arrived, he got a lot of great games in the World Cup qualifiers. So I think that's the moment where things got okay. We start beating everyone, and we saw, hey, we're great. That happened, but it's the past. Now we have to look out to the future, to the next competitions we have. And I mean, people here we always get disappointed if you don't win the trophies, but the team have to separate this feeling from them because I mean, just one will get the trophy, so all of the others should be disappointed. No, Brazil, I think they did a great World Cup. They weren't smashed by Belgium. It's Belgium have a great team too, and it happens. So I think they have this mentality that they did great. They are doing great now. So it's in the past. It's not more like it's not a trauma anymore.
Yeah. What about just you talking about the future as well? We might as well just have a quick look now then before we finish off. The quarterfinals: Peru versus Paraguay. That's Friday at 10 o'clock British time. Brazil versus Chile is 1 o'clock in the morning British time. And then you got Uruguay versus Colombia on Saturday and Argentina versus Ecuador on Sunday. So there's literally a game. There's 2 games on Saturday, 1 on Friday and 1 on Sunday. What do you think is going to happen with the first game, Peru versus Paraguay, Stuart? What do you think the result might be of this?
I think that's a game that goes to extra time, maybe penalties. I think if I've had to go either way, I think the way that the players so far, I can see Paraguay getting through. But I think that it could be more than 90 minutes and that could be extra time or penalties.
Yeah. What about you, Louise?
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to the extra time because Paraguay always got the defensive side, and Peru is kind of the same. So, I mean, we got probably a nil-nil or 1-1. If you got more than 2 goals in that game, you gotta be thankful. Oh, we saw more than 2 goals here. It won't happen. I mean, if someone wins, it will be like 1-0. It's definitely that. And I don't know. I think Peru will qualify, but it could be both ways. It's unpredictable.
What about then? I'll leave Brazil and Chile till the end. But Uruguay and Colombia on Saturday, Stuart. What do you make of this one?
I'm gonna go Colombia on that one. I think that again, like I said earlier, Uruguay have still got the world class players, but they are having kind of rest of the team. I think that Colombia are. Like I said in the Brazil game as well, Colombia are the team that will scrap, they'll fight, they'll kick you, they'll bite you, they'll do whatever they have to do. Yes, Suarez will as well for you guys. I think, yeah, I think Colombia will battle through that one. Not just because I'm a Rangers fan and they've got Morelos in the squad, but I think that I do think that Colombia will get through that one.
Luis Suarez, he's. I mean, I remember going to Ajax to watch him play well before he went to Liverpool, and I even took a video of him scoring his hat trick at Ajax. Like, it was brilliant. Like, it was back in the day. And he bit there. He bit at Ajax. He bit at Liverpool. He's bit at Barcelona. He's bit at Uruguay. He's a bit bitter, isn't he? Do you think, Louise? Like, I don't know what. What's the tactics behind that anyway? That can't be a South American thing because I've seen so many other people in Europe do it. But
well, I mean, Uruguay, I think the best characteristics of them is their mentality because they are a small country, and of course they won't have a lot of great players because there are just a few people there. I mean, they are a really small country, so they say, "Hey, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best, and we will fight till the end." So they always did it, and they won like 2 World Cups like that. It's surprising to see how competitive they are. They've surely at least the third best team in the continent, like in history, and they always do it. You'll never see an Uruguayan player giving up before the game ends. And they have Suarez and Cavani. So, I mean, if you put the ball to them, they will surely find something there.
yeah,
And I don't know. I think they are just not so consistent on the pitch, not a strong team. Not strong as a team, although they have good players. And so I believe Colombia will qualify because they've seen more connected to each other in the pitch. I don't know. I think Uruguay will go through a transition, and in a few years they might be at the top level again. But don't know. I really don't like too much how they're going on.
how about talking about Argentina and Ecuador, Louise? Anything you can tell us about Ecuador and what do you make of this game coming up on Sunday?
Well, about Ecuador, I was talking to a Colombian friend of mine, and he said that it's funny how Ecuador is at the same time they are overrated and underrated. I mean, it's crazy because people look at it and say, "Hey, they have a good defensive line. They got good teams in trouble. It's not so easy to beat them as it were before." But then you go there, play the game, and you see, hey, I don't know, maybe they're not out that much that we expect. So it's crazy to think that's the way it goes, but I think they can't match Argentina like people would expect. I think Argentina will qualify. I mean, maybe 2-0. Of course, it's unpredictable. We can't be sure of anything, but I would I would be really surprised if Ecuador managed to qualify.
What about you, Stuart?
Yeah, completely agree. I think that Ecuador struggled, they scraped through the group. I watched the game against Brazil, the last game, and you could tell that Brazil had already qualified. They made 10 changes. Ecuador needed a result. They played okay, drew 1-1, but it was nothing special. But Ecuador did have one of my favourite moments from this year's tournament. I don't know if you've seen it, Louis, but it was in one of the first games. I think it was Valencia that was getting interviewed after the game, and the interviewer started asking him questions in Portuguese. Nine of the 10 countries in South America speak Spanish, Ecuador being one of them. But it's being held in Brazil, which is a Portuguese-speaking country. So the interviewer goes to him. He says, "Okay, now deu certo no jogo de hoje," which is what didn't work in the game today. And Valencia was like, "What? I don't understand the question." But the reporter said it again in Portuguese and again in Portuguese. And he said, "Well, I don't know what you're asking, but this happened in the game," and then just walked off. It was mad. Like it's like, imagine just asking an English guy a question in French 3 times. It was just crazy, but it was just funny to watch. But I think Argentina will win comfortably.
Yeah, I mean that's weird, isn't it? I mean, because at least asking his own national language would probably make sense to get an answer, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, like I mean, 9 out of 10 countries in South America speak Spanish. Like, interview them in Spanish, you know.
Exactly. So let's go on to the last game then, and then we'll ask you who you think will win Copa America. We'll finish it up.
I would like to just say something here. It's funny how people here can't understand Spanish and they can't understand Portuguese. I don't know how it happens, but people really struggle to understand the other language, although they're really similar. And I even got a story about that. When I went to London, I was in the hotel lobby there and said, "Hey, there's an Xbox here. Let's play some FIFA." Then an Argentinian guy appeared and, "Hey, can we play?" "Oh, yeah, of course, let's play together." And we talked every time we talked just in English, even though we could speak something like I could speak Spanish to him, but no, it's better in English. It's more comfortable for both of us to speak in English.
Yeah, if you can do it, and do it, I guess, right, Stuart?
Well, yeah, I had the same in Argentina. So I was in a hostel, and a group of Brazilians came in, and the receptionist spoke Spanish, English, French, everything, but not Portuguese. And then the Brazilians spoke no Spanish. So I ended up as the English person translating between an Argentinian and a Brazilian because they couldn't understand each other. So I was kind of like the common ground, speaking Spanish and Portuguese. But their languages are so much more similar. It was mental.
It happens. It happens. I only know a little bit of Portuguese, just enough to get a beer and maybe some sweets, some snacks.
Oh, that's perfect. You don't need anything more.
That's all. I know a little bit like bom dia, you know, tudo bem, si tu bem, you know, all that sort of stuff. Just enough. Just enough. I need to know a bit more actually. My co-host and co-channel owner is from Brazil. I need to learn. I really do need to learn from him. So we've gone through the fixtures. We've gone through the groups. We're about to end off. Pretty much to quickly ask you guys. I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to say, but who do you think's going to actually win? Mind over heart, mind you. Who do you think is probably more likely to win Copa America this year? Louise, you first.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brazil. I can't.
Mind over heart.
Yeah, mind over heart. Don't worry. It's just, I mean, Brazil has the best squad. They are, I think they're more competitive than the other teams, and I mean, if you look back, Brazil got like 6 clean sheets in a row and 10 victories in a row. So I don't know. It would be really disappointed if they don't get the trophy this time because the other teams look so worse than they could be, than they have been in the past years. I don't know. It's Brazil. It's always going to be Brazil. They're going to win it.
You got you got Messi at the top of both assists and goals
Yes.
tournament so far, which is pretty amazing, right, Stuart?
Yeah, and that's the only thing that can stop Brazil winning it, really. I think that I'd imagine it would be a Brazil-Argentina final. I can't see any of the other teams stopping that. And then is it one of Messi's last chances to win a major and international tournament. So I think that's the only thing that kind of goes in their favour. That it's that potential, but Brazil have the strongest team, the strongest all round. So they're definitely going to be favourites for it. And to see, but it's a one-off game in the final, so.
Yeah, you never know, do you? Like we said,
presuming that they get there, because there are 2 games each to get there as well.
Guys, I guess we should wrap it off there then. Sorry, my cough is so bad today. But yeah, we might as well finish it off there. I think that was pretty much well done. It was just a quick roundup of what's going on. Louise, anything else to add before we finish off? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, just a quick observation. I think Argentina is the only one that could beat Brazil because they have Messi. I mean, no other team has a player like Messi here, and Neymar is not in that good form. Messi is a decisive factor here, so in a 90-minute game, you never know what can happen, and he could be really decisive. He's in the last years of his career, and he surely wants a trophy with his national team. So, yeah, I'm not so comfortable thinking about a final between Brazil and Argentina because it would be really tense. But I think Brazil will win it, even if it's Argentina on the other side.
I think so. Do you think that's true? Do you think it could be Brazil and Argentina in the final? And do you think potentially Brazil could just do it?
I think so. I think the semi-finals will be good games. I think there's some good games in the build-up, but I do think that both teams will qualify. I think that Messi still going for that international tournament that's evaded him for so long is the only thing which could take it away. But if you look at the squad depth that Brazil have got, I mean, Brazil made 10 changes for game against Ecuador, and that team would probably still close and get to the final with 10 changes. So no one else has got that squad depth. No one else could deal with injuries in the knockout round or suspensions the same way that Brazil can. And if they turn up and perform, which they have done so far and have been doing recently, then it's hard to see them getting beat.
I'd agree 100%. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you to Stuart and Louise as well for coming in. Do you guys want to shout out your social medias, let everyone know where they can find you? Start off with Stuart first. Where can we find you, mate?
I couldn't even tell you what my own social media is, but stick it in the comments afterwards.
There we go. We can do that. Yeah, definitely guaranteed. Louise, mate, where can we find you, mate?
Well, you can find me in Instagram here. I got the BR Footy. Just search, you'll find me. I have a page where I talk about Brazilian football, about Brazilian teams, our national team. So check it. I think you might like it.
Brilliant. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Football United TV, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, sharing, liking, do what you can. We'll be back later on this evening to talk about the Euros, and we'll be back on Monday to talk about Copa America and what's happened in the quarterfinals, semi-finals, And both finals are on the same day, 11th of July. The Euros and Copa America. Man, it's going to be a crazy night for me, I tell you.
I think it's the night of the. I think the Copa America is the night before for us, so like 1 o'clock in the morning on the 11th, and then the Euro finals afterwards. So I think it's the Saturday into the Sunday, the Copa America, and then the Sunday nights for Euros. So that'll be a late night and then a good day for the Euros afterwards.
Yeah, it will be, but it's okay. I'll take that. Everybody, thank you for tuning in once again. Please do hit subscribe, share, like. Let's just say, shout out a few comments here. Hello from F. If anybody knows F, can't wait. And Ticho, big up Ticho, says love your page on Instagram.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, man.
There you go. Got support there. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today, and hopefully we'll see you soon, right?
Yeah, of course. Matt, thanks a lot for the invitation, man. I really enjoyed it. And see you soon. You, Stuart, too. You're a nice guy. So
Cheers,
I hope
lads.
to see you here again.
Take care. And sure, enjoy that beer, right? On that sunshine in Huddersfield.
Don't worry about that, mate. I will do.
Enjoy your beer.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.